Okay. Bobby Rome, Florida Memorial. They parted ways over the weekend. Bobby Rome had been there for 3 years, 15-15 record, led the football program to back-to-back appearances in the Sun Conference Championship game. And so right after New Year starts, he finds out he's not going to be around anymore. The school made it official today with an announcement. He kind of went ahead of the school and posted on his Facebook page a statement about it, which reads, "Good morning, Facebook family. We're all a family on Facebook. That's right. Sometimes change is inevitable. After 3 seasons here in South Florida, the administration at Florida Memorial University decided not to renew my contract and move in a different direction of the football program. This decision came as a surprise and has been a significant challenge for me and my family. I want to express my gratitude to the student athletes I had the privilege of working with. Helping you grow, develop, and graduate has been an honor. I'm also extending my thanks to the coaching staff for the collaboration and camaraderie we shared during my time at the university. As I reflect on this chapter, I'm ready for the next journey, wherever it may lead. Thank you for all your support." That was Coach Bobby Rome, and Chris Stevens wrote about it over the weekend, and had a conversation with Bobby Rome briefly about what transpired. So, Chris, what do you make of this, and kind of like how all this went down, kind of like in a shocking fashion?
It stinks. Bottom line, it stinks. This, remind you, this is the Florida Memorial football program that had been dormant for 60 something years. They stopped playing football in 1958. They restarted the program right around the time the pandemic started, 2020. The first coach they had didn't do very well. Enter Bobby Rome. They finished 3-7 his first year. They go 6-4 in 2023, 6-3-1 this past year. Both times they made it to the Sun Conference Championship game. And that's not good enough for you as an administrator. And it's mind-boggling to me because, I mean, this is a dude who actually won games at Virginia University of Lynchburg, mind you.
I'm sorry.
And I mean, if you can win football games with the Washington Generals of black college football,
I knew it was coming.
then you are doing something right.
I knew it was coming.
And then you go to Florida Memorial, who's been, in mothballs for generations, and you lead into back-to-back winning seasons, and then all of a sudden your president says, "Oh wow, I want to go in a different direction." What different direction are you going in other than down? None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. I mean, and I've talked to Coach Rome at length about different things, regarding black college football and different things of that nature. And I mean, I can't say what our conversation was because it was an off the record conversation, but just know that this makes no sense. None whatsoever. And I don't know where Florida Memorial goes from here, but I can tell you they're not going any higher unless they find that they're going to get an NFL football player from somewhere, which apparently is, again, can't say too much, but yeah, it's a mess. And I think what we're starting to see now with there's a level of delusion with a lot of university presidents, board of trustees, and yes, Kendrick, I'm going to use your favorite word, stakeholders. There's a lot of delusion within that camp who thinks that they could just get something better every time something doesn't go their way. We saw it with Florida A&M. We're seeing it with other HBCUs. It's like, oh, wow, we don't like this person. Let's get rid of them and bring somebody else in. It'll be so much better. Is it really? Is it real, son? Is it really real, son? Let me know, son. No, it's not. So I just feel bad for Coach Rome because this is a dude, again, he won games at Virginia University of Lynchburg. He won games there. And he turned Florida Memorial into a winning program within a season. Back to back, mind you. So I just don't understand. I mean, I feel bad for him. And again, it stinks because it's well after a time where he could find another job and where the football players could transfer, and that whoever this new coach is going to be able to keep this program at a level where Coach Rome is at. They're going to stink this year because those kids are going to leave, and whoever the new coach is going to be working with bare bones. So whatever Florida Memorial has planned, God bless them, but this is stupid.
Yeah, I think that's the part that. No, let me just say, because I don't know, but I think that's the part that really is disturbing about this. It's the timing of it. When you could have made this decision
months ago,
shortly after the season ended, in which you could have given not only the coach options, but you could have given yourself as the institution some options as for a replacement. So, I'll admit I don't want to take a conspiratorial mindset, but there is a part of me that makes me wonder: is there more to this than just wins and losses? Or is there some sort of a personality dispute between with the higher ups? I don't know, but the timing of it is what really is troublesome about what we're talking about right now, when it could have been done much earlier if you didn't want to keep him on as your Coach Roman on as your head coach.
Hey, go ahead, Jared.
Move aside, Mississippi Valley State. Someone has dethroned you for the dumbest hot firing or non-renewal of a contract this offseason. I need y'all to understand the context behind this. We are literally 2 weeks away from National Signing Day. 2 weeks away. You are about to have guys enter the portal that came in with Bobby Rome. You are going to have a slim pickings of coaching candidates. What about this makes sense? Nothing about it made sense. Like Ken said, you could have done this in November before early signing day. It still would have been dumb, but at least you would have gave yourself time to find somebody who is qualified enough to be in that position. You are about to scrape the bottom of the barrel for the next. I'd be surprised if they got somebody good. And by the way, Mississippi Valley State, breaking news, Kendrick Wade is at the University of Memphis. So that just lets you know that he wasn't going to be without a job for very long. And I know that Bobby Rome is going to be somewhere good, and he deserves it. I hope that he is at a Division I institution. I hope that he's there because he deserves it. And Florida Memorial, I don't know who you about to get. You about to get somebody's assistant to the assistant to be your next head coach. Because it doesn't make sense to make this announcement this late in the game. We are, 2 or 3 weeks into 2025. What about that makes sense? By this time, people already have their head coaches in place and are doing the recruiting to get ready for spring ball. You are about to just now be hiring your head coach. That makes no sense. We saw how it affected Florida A&M and the kind of season they had. Imagine if they had a full off season. Imagine if Texas Southern would have had a full off season. The fact that they were able to overperform with the off season that they had last year. Imagine if they had a full one. You're giving this coach literally 2 weeks to put together an impressive signing day roster. That is literally mission impossible. You are going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel for recruits. You're going to get guys who are rejected by schools that are better or that are worse than Florida Memorial. This was easily the dumbest non-renewal of a contractor firing that we've had in HBCU football this offseason. Because it makes no sense at all, unless there was something behind the scenes that we just don't know about. Maybe the president never liked them and he never wanted Bobby Rome in the door in the first place. Because that's the only explanation I got for that. That's the only explanation. Because he has the credentials. This team has had 2 winning seasons in back-to-back years. They literally played the SIAC championship runner-ups to a tie. The SIAC championship runner-ups, by the way, that was one of the top offense. That was one of the top offense in Division II football. That's who they played to a tie. They were at 28-28 at halftime with that team. And you let him go. That's the team. He beat Edward Waters 3 years in a row. And by the way, an Edward Waters team that in 2023 had a winning record. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Man,
so to that, let me just say this, because I know FMU is NAIA, and I don't know if National Signing Day rules apply to them.
No, it don't.
As it would with the NCAA. However, those students still have options.
Exactly.
And they can always transfer to an NCAA institution. Just keep that in mind. But another thing I just want to tap on that, to say to that, is in the statement that Coach Rome made when he talked about how it came as a shock to him and his family. And I really believe he was sincere in saying that, because again, I'm, not trying to be in his pocket, but, I'm pretty certain that being the head coach at FMU, I don't know what the salary is, but, I'm sure he ain't rich. He ain't just getting paid hand over fist being the head coach at FMU. And so to have that decision made at this point of where we are right now with football, I think he was sincere when he said that. So just something to keep in mind, man. That's a real tough pill to swallow when something like this happens, when you put in consideration what he's done for that school up to this point. I understand it's transactional. I get it. But the timing is really, really suspect.
Maybe FMU wanted Shady McCoy to be the football coach. I don't know.
You know what? I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that.
They deserve. I was going to say they deserve each other.
Yeah, it's so disappointing. Like, this late in the game, after the new year, well after the season is over, and it didn't seem like there were any tea leaves out there to suggest that he would not be around next year. I don't know what the motivation is for them to make this move for a really good football coach who, like Chris Stevens said, like, resurrected their football program and made it not only respectable but competing for championships, which everybody think would want, but had to be something else going on there for that decision to be made. I'm just sad for him and his family and for the football program too, because it was definitely on the rise. Because they played Grambling this year, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or last year? They played them pretty tough last year, and they played them pretty tough. They were in that game till late in the fourth quarter. So he has something going there. To have it just taken away like that just speaks poorly on their leadership at FMU. So hopefully Bobby Rome finds his footing somewhere else, and hopefully that football program can recover eventually, because it's just a tough blow for them. And with that being said, Chris Stevens, you know what to do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we